Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit since I made a video on this channel, so I thought in today's episode we'd make a quick throwaway video to give you guys something to watch while I'm working on some nicer things. Today's video we're going to be answering some viewer questions, stuff that's been asked on my Discord or on the channel pages. I recently posted a post on the community tab on the channel and on Discord asking if anyone had any questions for this video. And I got quite a few. I've looked through my old videos and stuff like that to find some questions I haven't answered before as well. I did make a Q&A when I first hit 1,000 subscribers about a year ago, but I've taken that video down because I make some political comments in that video which I realise now watching it back might have been quite divisive. So I thought I'd make a new video, make it a little bit less iffy. I don't have a shout out for today's video because the only gold member on the Patreon cancelled their membership, so RIP and all that good stuff. So if you want to get a shout out at the start of every video and you want to get early access to content, all that good stuff, head down to the description, grab yourself a Patreon membership. The lowest is literally $1 a month, so dirt cheap. It's cheaper than a coffee. And if you haven't already, buy a copy of my book, The Little Book of Satanism, available on Amazon in paperback, hardback and Kindle edition if you want to get into Satanism or anything to do with Satanism in general. This book acts as a guide, well, not really a guide, it acts as a general overview of the sects. I don't cover my particular view of Satanism. I cover the major sects, the major symbols, the major principles and stuff like that. So if you want to get into Satanism and you want a nice easy guide, make sure to grab a copy. Just saying, by the way, this book's in public domain and there's no digital property protection, so you can just steal this book. I won't tell anybody. With all out of the way, let's get into it. Let's have a look what we've got here. I have a Satanist or Ecstasy. I have a question for your future Q&A. I would like to support you financially, but for me that is only possible through membership. So my question is, could you imagine giving memberships to your channel in addition to Patreon? That would be really great if that was possible. Hail Satan. Hail Satan to you too, Memento Mori. Or to get memberships on YouTube, you actually need to have 3,000 hours of watch time, and I've actually only got 500 hours, so if you want to make this possible, just check my videos on in the background or something and it'll slowly accumulate till I'm able to get there. I was quite close last year before I disappeared for a couple of months, but yeah, I'm not actually able to offer memberships on YouTube, so yeah, if you want to help out the channel, check my videos on in the background while you're asleep or something. The watch time will accumulate and it'll unlock things for the channel, like memberships and donations and the fan club stuff and all that. I'm not monetized on this channel. The only form of monetization I've actually got is Patreon and the book sales. So if you want to have some alternative way to do it, you could buy one of the books or you could do it on Patreon. Or yeah, unfortunately I cannot actually offer YouTube memberships, but yeah. Donut2123 asks, in Satanism, is there any objective morality? This is quite iffy really, because there are some Satanists who believe in an objective morality, although personally I do not believe that. I believe that morality and things like morality, like the illusion of order and shit, they're human constructs. It's not how our universe operates. I don't believe you can see a good and an evil in the universe. I believe these are things that are purely applied to humans, you know, because we have the thought process to actually think of these things. Like you'd never call a tree good or evil. You never call a dog good or evil for carrying out its nature, because that's just its nature. That's how it is. Although there are some Satanists who disagree with me on that, but I think that the concept of good and evil are purely subjective. They are made up, really. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Krillson1195 asks, new to this type of thing, looks intriguing. I always glasses keep fucking falling off my face. I always let any ideology speak their mind. Respectable and out of topic question. What got you into the Satanist ideology and why do you worship Satan? I'm curious. So I don't think I've actually spoken about this on the channel. I've spoken about it in interviews, an interview that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. I'm not going to spoil that for anyone, but I did an interview with another Satanic YouTuber, which should be out in the next couple of weeks. Although, yeah, keep your eyes out for that, because there should be a collaboration thing on the channel or whatever. The way I actually got into Satanism was I went to a Protestant school when I was well, not Protestant, it's technically non-denominational, but they're Protestant schools, everyone knows that. But yeah, no Catholics go to those schools. But yeah, I went to Protestant school when I was very young, and I had a had a very like specific idea of what devil worship was. I didn't really understand it, and when I was about 11, 12, maybe something like that, I had a friend who was Wiccan, and because of my preconceived notions, I actually thought they were a devil worshipper. I thought that this was just satanic, and obviously, on some deeper research, I figured out this wasn't Satanism. If anything, it was nothing like Satanism, and that took me on the road of thinking, what is Satanism? Then I got into like the Church of Satan. Well, I didn't get into. I looked into their ideology and the TST and stuff like that, but after about not even a couple of months really, I realised that their ideology is very hollow. They don't really, there's nothing really to them, you know what I mean? Like if you go in by what they class as a Satanist, then anyone could be a Satanist, and I don't believe that's the case. I believe that being a Satanist takes effort, you know what I mean? You've got to actually put in the devotion, you've got to actually put in the work, you've got to actually think about Satan, you've got to actually give a fuck, you know what I mean? I don't think you can just slap the title of Satan on yourself. Although, yeah, the reason I worship Satan is because I believe he's the primordial force of chaos. I believe he's the god of the pure objective. I believe that our universe is almost an exact image of what a chaotic god would do. I don't believe there's any intelligent design behind it. I don't even believe humans were created intentionally. I believe, if anything, that Satan is the source and we are a byproduct of the universe. I don't believe that he did this intentionally. I don't think that Satan really cares about humans. Not in a human sense anyway. I don't think that, like, I think Satan's beyond human emotion. He's beyond human morality. He's beyond stuff like that. I don't think he would play into it. I think it'd be beneath him, if anything. I think any god which is truly worth worshipping would not have any regard for human morality, because, again, it'd be beneath him. Jeff Gurr, however the fuck you pronounce this, asks, what about the fun stuff like the orgy and Slayer music questions? Yeah, that's not religious Satanism, man. I'm not particularly into Slayer. I used to really like metal music, although I prefer like 90s hip hop nowadays. Yeah, I don't think that Slayer are like Satanists at all. I'm pretty sure they just use the imagery in their fucking like albums or whatever the fuck. And orgies, that's not a specifically satanic thing either, so like, yeah, I'm not sure if that answers your question. I kind of just picked that, but like, yeah. Oh my fucking god, I'm not even doing these names anymore. This person asks, I worship Satan every night before I go to bed, is that good enough? Personally, yes, I do believe that is good enough. I do 2 rituals a day, although I don't actually believe that Satan wishes for people to worship him. I don't think he really cares. I think the point of ritual is to benefit the practitioner. In my view, Satan is God, alright? He's the primordial force of chaos. There's nothing that you can give him. He has everything, you know what I mean? And even if you did give him something, I doubt he'd care, because he's chaotic, completely random, you know what I mean? Although, yeah, I think rituals are there purely to benefit the practitioner. I do believe in like magic and things like that. I believe you can manipulate these energies in the universe. Although I don't think Satan particularly cares whether you pray to him or not. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. Hellenic Blonde asks, how did you get involved in Satanism? And I know that's quite similar to some of the other questions, although I'm just gonna, I talked about like me stumbling across Satanism, but I'll tell you guys how I actually got involved in it. So, when I first started out in Satanism, I found like Luciferianism and Diabolism, and initially I did identify with both. Not both, I identified with one and the other, like in separate periods of time, because I've had several different perspectives on Satanism through my practice. I've been practicing for nearly a decade now, so yeah, my views have changed very drastically over that time. Like, there were points where I'd worship a dualistic version of, like a dualistic morality version of Satanism, where I believed that Lucifer was a lighter aspect and the devil was Satan was a darker aspect, but 2 sides of the same coin. Nowadays, I more believe that, it isn't 2 sides of the same coin, it's just a coin. These things are all the same. I believe that Lucifer and Satan and all that good stuff are essentially the same. The way I got into Theistic Satanism was that I stumbled across these things and I never really looked back, because Satanism offered me so much that traditional religion couldn't. Like, it offered, like, Satanism doesn't really care how you live your life. It's very based on the individual and your liberty and stuff like that. Satanism won't judge you. Satanism won't tell you that you deserve to fucking burn for eternity for simply wanting to like smoke a joint or fucking have a wank. So probably why I got involved in Satanism, really, because it's not judgmental. It'll kind of just let you live your life. It'll let you decide, oh yeah, this is what is right and this is what is wrong. It lets you explore, lets you experiment. There's a lot of variation, there's a lot of wiggle room with things. It allows you to grow as an individual, which is personally why I got involved in Satanism. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. I might have gone on a bit of a side tangent then. No More 012 asks, quick question from an outsider. Do theistic Satanists have some sort of moral code, or does it vary from person to person? Once again, this is on a very individual basis. There are some commonly held principles which I actually go over in my book on the shelf. Buy it on Amazon, paperback, hardback, Kindle edition. So yeah, there are some commonly held principles. Like Satanists, more often than not, are anti-authoritarian, very individualistic, very anti-collectivist. We don't generally like those kinds of things. We generally believe in things like sex equality, and not in the sense of like, oh yeah, like we're like feminists or whatever. Like no, we literally believe that like men and women, we deserve the same things because we exist. You know what I mean? We believe in the male and female energies, and we believe these are things on the same level, represented by the Baphomet, of course, duality of the universe and all that good shit. Or yeah, specific things like the concept of good and evil that I spoke about, it varies widely between Satanists, because once again, I used to believe in good and evil. I used to have a dualistic system of worship, or now I don't believe that. I believe Satan is the god of the objective. There's no like set moral principles among Satanists aside from these some commonly held principles, and even then, even the commonly held principles, sometimes they vary widely between Satanists. So like, yeah. Jesus, fucking, my pronunciation is terrible today. Like, this isn't even like a complicated name. Jester Roland on Discord asks, thoughts on what/who Satan is, difference if any from Lucifer, thoughts on other demons, thoughts on magic spells, thoughts on the afterlife, good books to read in general. So to put my thoughts on what Satan is into a general, like, if I'm just going to simplify it, like really boil it down, I believe that Satan's the title for these adversarial deities. I believe that, like, some people believe that the devil and Lucifer are two sides of the same coin, like I mentioned before. I don't believe this. I believe that it is just a coin, and the coin is Satan. You can add whatever you want to it. You can add Moloch, you can add Baal, you can add fucking Melech, Taos. I believe it's all Satan. It's just a coin. But the coin, alright, yeah, this is probably a bad analogy, but imagine the coin is Satan, and every depiction of it is a different side. Some people may say, oh yeah, there's two sides of the same coin. I just say it's a coin. It's all the same thing. There's no difference between them. There might be a different perception of it. It might be depicted differently. It might be depicted differently in a different culture, and they might have a different thought on it. Although if you boil it down, it's all Satan. At the very core of it, you know what I mean? I feel like that's probably the best way I can really put it. Thoughts on other demons? I believe that demons are aspects of Satan. Since Satan represents the pure primordial chaos of the universe, the complete objective, I believe he is all-encompassing. Completely all-encompassing. Every aspect of our universe has Satan. But I believe these demons are specific aspects that you can see, because Satan is the everything, the complete whole pie. Imagine that like Lilith is the feminine aspect of that, because obviously if something encompasses everything in objective reality, then you could observe a part of it which would be like this, and you could observe a part of it which would be like this, and then like this, and like this, and like this. So yeah, that's my general view on demons. I don't believe that they are like specific like entities, you know what I mean? I just believe they're a part of the wider picture. But yeah, thoughts on magic / spells. I haven't really done many spells. I've done a lot of ceremonial magic, a lot of like the devotional stuff. I've done dedication rituals, I've done divination with demons and stuff earlier in my practice. But I don't really do a lot of spells or anything like that anymore, because I don't think it's worth asking Satan for anything that I can achieve myself. And most things I would generally say I can achieve myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to ask Satan, oh, can I win the lottery? Because that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. And again, Satan doesn't give a shit, so, you know what I mean? But yeah, most things I believe I can generally do myself, and if I can, well, if I'm, like, sometimes I ask for guidance and stuff like that, but that's very different. You can ask for guidance from anything, but yeah, I think it's silly to do magic for things that you can do yourself. I think like love spells and stuff are like ridiculous. Like if you do them, you're a fucking weirdo. And thoughts on the afterlife. I have a very different like view on the afterlife from what most Satanists believe. I don't really believe there is an afterlife. I believe that we are within this universe, and well, that's basically it. We don't really understand what's going to happen once we die. Maybe everything goes black. Maybe we just become part of the universe, since the molecules that make up our body were there at the start of the universe. You know what I mean? Maybe the molecules that make up your body now will become something else that's alive in future. Maybe that's the afterlife. Maybe that's the whole piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? Maybe we do truly live for eternity, but we live for eternity on in the molecules of the universe or whatever. But personally, I don't really have much of a view on the afterlife, because I think for me to comment on that, I would have had to already died, and I'm quite living. So yeah. Post Machine 444 asks, I can't find a single video on Theistic Satanism that details who or what Satan actually is to a Theistic Satanist. And what are their reasons for wanting to worship Satan? Can you answer these questions? What do you believe Satan is, and how would you describe Satan? I'd like to hear personal understanding of Satan and reasons for worship if possible. So once again, this changes per Satanist, because Satanism is incredibly, I cannot stress this enough, and Satanism is incredibly individualistic. This varies vastly between practitioners on what Satan actually is. There are some who believe in a literal biblical devil type figure. There are some who believe in a primordial chaos, such as myself. There are some who believe in Lucifer the light bringer as a god of wisdom and stuff like that. I feel like the reason why people ask this question so often is because they compare their experience of religion generally only stems from Christianity, and they believe that every religion needs to have this centralized text, like a Bible or a Quran, or like the Bhagavad Gita, for example, when Satanists don't have this, mainly because we are so new. We only have about, well, 13th century, so about 700 years of history we've got. From my research anyway, it's about 700 years of history. We don't have that. Because through history, a lot of our works and stuff have been burned. A lot of people have been prosecuted. A lot of people have been killed for being Satanists. So yeah, we never really developed that centralized text kind of thing. Like obviously Anton LaVey made an attempt in the 1960s, although not all Satanists agree with that, because he doesn't fit the traditional definition of what a Satanist is. He doesn't believe in actual Satan. He's a pure atheist. He believes that Satan is some metaphor for whatever the fuck. But once again, like, these guys don't fit the traditional definition of what a Satanist is. The definition for Satanist actually had to be changed to fit these people into it, because they were calling themselves Satanists when they didn't fit the definition of it. What do you believe Satan is, and how would you describe Satan? I would describe Satan as a pure force of complete chaos in our universe, like the purest force of nature, because I believe that's what our objective reality is, just pure primordial chaos. And I believe that this universe is an extension of that, really. That we live in it, we're a byproduct of it, you know what I mean? I don't believe there's any kind of like cosmic order or anything like that. And that's where my beliefs differ from those of anti-cosmic Satanists. Anti-cosmic Satanists believe that our cosmos is order, complete order, and we are trapped in it, and Satan is outside of this. I don't believe that. I believe Satan is our universe. He completely envelops it. Our universe is complete chaos. I don't believe that like some like God built order on top of chaos, because I think that would be ridiculous. Quick question, are you thinking of making a Discord server again? And two more questions, what do you think of Luciferianism and me being an agnostic? Love to hear your responses. Ave Satanas, Ave Lucifer. Ave Satanas to you, biblical learner from 4 months ago. I do already have a Discord server. You can go join. It's called Ecstasy Devoted. You can find it on Discord. You can find it in the description below if you want to come talk to us, come talk about Satanism, come talk about the occult, shoot some shit. We do gambling night on there about every month or so, and we go in VC and all that, so that's quite good. If you want to join that, that'd be good. Luciferianism, I believe, as for most sects, and again, this is most, because some of them really fucking piss me off, as for most sects of Satanism, I completely accept their beliefs. Luciferians, I believe that we want the exact same thing, we're just perceiving it through different eyes, and that's perfectly fine. That's part of the beauty of Satanism. We can look at we can look at the exact same thing and be like, oh no, I view it this way, or I view it this way. I think that's the beauty of Satanism. I really do. I think the beauty in the difference in opinion, and that all of us can just have our own opinions, yet we are part of the same thing. I think that's a beautiful thing. I feel like that's something to be celebrated, if anything. I don't think that Satanism would benefit from a centralized figure or anything like that. I don't believe we'd benefit from a centralized text. I believe that the only way, not the only way, I believe the most efficient way you can practice Satanism is by taking a bit of everything and applying it. Take a bit of everything, take a bit from the Diabolists, take a bit from the Luciferians, take a bit from the Anti-Cosmics, take a bit from wherever the fuck, all these other sources, the Ars Goetia, or the complete book of the Demonolatry and all that stuff, and put together your own practice, your own personal Satanism, because that's how I believe that you can practice the most efficiently. I believe that's how you can practice without falling into an echo chamber or anything like that. I don't believe in like joining groups or anything. I talk about this extensively in the book. Again, buy a paperback, hardback, Kindle edition, Amazon, link in the description. But anyway, I don't believe that Satanism would benefit from having a centralized text or being an organized religion or anything like that. I think that the level of variation we have is actually a quite big strength of Satanism compared to other religions. Although, yeah. And what do you think of me being agnostic? I haven't looked too much into agnosticism, although from my opinion I think that's perfectly reasonable. You can't know that a God exists the same way that I don't know Satan exists. I don't like, you don't know your reality exists. You could be a brain in a fucking jar and you're just like hallucinating all this shit. But like, yeah, I think that's a perfectly reasonable stance to take. You don't know God exists because you're not dead yet. So yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. If you want to be an agnostic, if you want to be a Luciferian, go for it. You've got Ecstasy's personal blessing. I know you really needed my validation to live your life, but yeah, you've got my personal blessing. Stamp Ecstasy approved. Z asks on Discord, what's your opinion on the firmament and the shape of the earth? Don't answer right now. Silly question, I know, but also serious. I've never been asked anything like this before. Although it's silly I even need to answer this, but I do believe the earth is completely round. I do not believe that this... Yeah, I don't believe the earth is flat. I think that's what this question is leading. Although, yeah, I do not believe the earth is flat. I think the earth is round, like a bowl. Well, not a perfect bowl, it's more egg-shaped really, when like, you know, the moon pulls on it and it stretches. Although, yeah, that's what I believe. I don't think the earth is flat. What are the books on your altar? And this question was asked on, I believe it was the Satanic morning ritual video, and I'm pretty sure the book on my altar was Kitab al-Jawar during that ritual. And Kitab al-Jawar is a book written by, well, it's not, well, they think it was written by Sheikh Adi. It's attributed to him anyway. And yeah, that book is, among some Satanists, accepted as a book of Satan. Like, they believe that is Satan telling people about what he actually does and the nature of the universe we live in and stuff like that. I have some pretty mixed feelings on that book. I don't believe that it is a true Yazidi book, although I do believe it actually does represent a lot of the things Satanism does advocate for and stuff like that. I do believe that it somewhat lines up with my view of Satan, and it definitely lines up with some of the more biblical type of Satanists. Although, yeah, that was the book on my altar, and the reason I have it on there is because I think it's, even though I don't believe it's a true Yazidi book, I do believe it's a fabrication. I do think it's a good representation of what Satanism is. Not Satanism, I think it's a perfect representation of what Satan is, especially to someone who's a beginner, you know what I mean? If you're beginning in Satanism, I do believe that Kitab al-Jawar is probably a good book to read just to get a grasp of what Satan actually is. Although, again, it's not I don't believe it's a true Yazidi book, get out the way. Although I do believe there is some room for practitioners to use this in their personal practice and to learn from. But yeah, that's my view on Kitab al-Jawar. Mate, why are you wearing a mask? I'm not being a jerk, you seem like a sound fella. I'm not a Satanist, I'm Christian. But I used to be into some dark shit and got out of it due to some scary supernatural experiences. I believed in a little of Satan and still do. Anyway, bud, thanks for posting and giving some information on stuff people barely think about. By the way, Jesus loves you whether you believe in him or not. Man, I was searching, bit God found me. The reason I've answered this in other in other videos as well, the reason I wear a mask is not because I'm like ashamed of Satanism or anything like that. Like, everyone I know knows I'm a Satanist. Everyone important anyway, you know what I mean? But yeah, the reason I wear a mask on YouTube is because I don't want people to be able to just find my identity on YouTube. I'm quite paranoid about things like that. I don't like the idea of it. But yeah, like I don't like the idea of people just being able to find out who I am on the internet. That's odd, you know what I mean? And yeah, like a lot of the people I actually know, like a lot of my friends and stuff, a lot of like my family members and shit, they actually watch my video. They watch my videos on my channel, yeah. I always tell them, yeah, don't fucking like say you know me or anything, because then people will link you to me and then they'll be able to find out who I am. But that's, you know, yeah, that's why I wear a mask. And with that, we get to the end of this video. This has probably been, well, it looks like it's been a lot longer than I thought it'd be. I didn't think there were that many questions that I had saved to my Google Drive. Although, yeah, with all that out the way, thank you for watching. I'll be Satanist to you all, and buy the goddamn book. I shall see you in the next one. Hail Satan.